Welcome to a new SiteGround video. My name is Cal Evans, and today we're going to learn about content delivery networks, commonly known as CDNs. We'll talk about how they can impact the speed of your website and how you can activate them. So let's get started, shall we? As site owners, we do a lot to make sure our sites are delivered to the end user as fast as possible. We cache data on the back end, we optimize the front end, we squeeze every ounce of performance we can out of our servers, the network, and yes, even the user's browser. All of this because everyone knows that when it comes to websites, and especially e-commerce websites, speed can be measured in dollars or whatever your favorite currency is. One of the things that we as site owners can do is use a content delivery network or a CDN. Now, to understand what a CDN is, you first need to understand this. Some of the files on your website are big. Big in this sense is not in size, but in the number of bytes. A big image on your website has to be transmitted from your server across the internet to the user's browser every time. Transmitting large items over the internet takes time. A CDN is a series of servers located near large population centers that store these large items for us. Let me give you an example. If your server is hosted in Chicago, Illinois in the United States, and you have a user in London, England that visits your website, that hero graphic on your website has to travel from Chicago all the way to London each time that user visits. Now, if you implement a CDN, then the CDN would have a server in London. It would store your large hero graphic locally there in London. When your server gets a request for your page, it serves the HTML, but for the large items, it would give a URL that points to the CDN. The CDN would say, hey, this user's in London. We've got a server there. Let's serve this graphic from London. The CDN would hand the browser a URL that is to the London server to get that image. Since the image only has to come from London to a London user, it loads a lot faster than if it was coming all the way from Chicago. In a nutshell, that's what a CDN is. Now, you need to be careful. A CDN isn't the answer to every question. Just like caching, you need to be careful in what you put in your CDN and make sure you know how to update or delete resources stored on the CDN. In the example we just looked at, the CDN wouldn't just have a server in London, it would have servers all around the world. So when you change your hero graphic, you need to make sure that it is changed all around the world, not just on your server in Chicago. Also, CDNs are, in effect, a cache. You don't want to store anything on a CDN that changes regularly. There's one main problem with CDNs, and it's the same problem that you run into with any caching, and that's invalidation. Invalidation is a technical term with a simple meaning. It means that there has to be some way for you to tell the CDN not to serve this piece of content anymore because it's invalid. You'll hear developers talking about stale content as well. Stale content is nothing more than content we don't want served anymore. Stale content is usually stale because it has an expiration date. And like bread, nobody wants stale. Unlike bread though, we can mark content as stale anytime we want. This tells the CDN to stop serving it. In the example of your hero graphic, if you want to change it out with a new graphic, then you need to mark your old graphic as stale and then upload the new one. There are many CDNs out there from which a site owner can choose. Some are better than others. Some are integrated with WordPress via a plugin, and this gives you good control. The best CDNs are the ones that integrate at a level below WordPress. These CDNs integrate at the infrastructure level. Now, this is the case with SiteGround CDN. They have their own CDN service, and since they architected their entire infrastructure from the ground up, they have more control in how things are wired together. This allows them to more tightly integrate their CDN with the other parts necessary to serve your website. The three main advantages of using SiteGround hosting and their CDN are as follows. First, SiteGround CDN is a cloud-native service. This gives it multi-region capability, high availability, and redundant groups of servers that cache your content and replicate it across the world. This allows them to deliver it faster. Second, the SiteGround CDN has more than 10 server locations spread around the world. These locations have been carefully chosen to deliver your content as fast as possible. Since SiteGround has control over the CDN and the network hosting your website, the communication between these two is fast. The potential delays that might happen when using a third-party CDN are totally eliminated. And third, SiteGround CDN requires absolutely no configuration on your part. As a matter of fact, the only management you would do is to purge the cache when necessary. Everything else is handled for you from the time you activate the CDN on your site. Let's look at how you can activate the SiteGround CDN and check its features. Now before we start, there are two things to keep in mind. First, the SiteGround CDN is only available for websites hosted on SiteGround. If you aren't yet using SiteGround as your hosting partner, this is a good time to switch. Second, the features of the CDN are divided into the basic plan and the premium plan. The basic plan is free to all SiteGround customers. In order to activate the SiteGround CDN, log into your SiteGround hosting account and go to Websites. Select the website you want to activate the CDN on. Now click on Site Tools for that site. Once in Site Tools, click on Speed. Now, click on CDN to get the CDN options. You now can see the CDN control panel. If you're using the basic plan, the CDN activation will only be available for the main domain on the account. To activate the CDN, click the button Activate Free or Activate Premium to get the premium options. Below the activation buttons is the Cache Purge option. This is one of two ways that you can purge the CDN. When you need to purge the CDN, just click the little broom icon and it will invalidate all cached items throughout the CDN. The next time somebody visits your site, the CDN will request all new copies of everything. This is really the option of last resort. You rarely want to invalidate your entire cache. If you're using WordPress and you have the SiteGround Optimizer plugin, the plugin will flush the CDN cache for you automatically whenever needed. Going back to the example I shared before, if you change out your hero graphic, but it doesn't change on your phone, that's when you want to purge the cache. That will solve the problem. Next, we have a slider for Development Mode option, which is another of the most important features of the SiteGround CDN. See, caching and CDNs are the bane of a developer's existence. If your developer is tinkering with a new plugin or trying to debug a problem, a CDN will make their lives miserable because they may or may not see the changes being made. Therefore, SiteGround has the Development Mode switch. Switch on Development Mode and the CDN will be disabled on your site for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, it will automatically re-enable. Those are the basic options, which are totally free to use. Now let's have a look at the premium features. The first one is dynamic caching. Dynamic caching is caching a full page at a time. After a page has been rendered by WordPress, it's stored on the CDN. And this makes your site much faster because the content is being serviced by the CDN, not by your server. It also reduces the load on your server, which speeds up the other parts of the page. Dynamic caching is one of the most valuable features that SiteGround CDN has because while other CDN providers may cache and serve some static content, with SiteGround CDN service, you also cache the fully dynamically generated page content. Another premium plan option is the option to modify the cache time to live. This is the second feature that allows you to invalidate content. The TTL tells the CDN how long to cache things from your site. The default is 12 hours, and that's a good compromise. But if you need more granular control, the TTL option gives it to you. Finally, the premium plan includes the Always Online feature. By activating this feature, the system will keep delivering cached pages from SiteGround CDN servers, even if your site is having technical issues. As we've seen, a CDN service will make your website faster, especially when you get visitors from different geographic locations. Using a third-party CDN will involve additional configuration steps and usually requires advanced technical knowledge. Hosting your website at SiteGround allows you to use SiteGround CDN service, and it's the easiest way for non-technical site owners to implement a content delivery network. If you want to see exactly how fast your website can go, host your website with SiteGround, turn on the CDN, and watch your website take flight. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you getting visitors to your website from different geographical regions? Have you already tried SiteGround CDN service? How much faster does your site run after activating it? Let us know in a comment below. Hey, I just want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you found it both educational and interesting. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click on the subscribe button on your screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon also so that YouTube will notify you every time we release a new video. Finally, follow us on social media to stay updated about all the news, trending content, and resources for successful website management that we share. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.